be honest, when I see the word antioxidants, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? For pretty much everyone, it's green tea, right? It's been crowned the undisputed champion of health drinks for years. But what if it's not? Today, we're going to put that title to the test and uncover some shocking contenders that might just be hiding in your kitchen right now. Okay, let's get into it.
So this is the big question we're diving into. Is green tea really the king of the antioxidant castle? We've all seen the headlines, we've all heard the hype, but does the science actually back it up when we compare it to some other, maybe less glamorous, everyday foods? Let's find out. First things first, let's give credit where it's due. Green tea's reputation is legendary for a very good reason. I mean, it is absolutely packed with beneficial compounds, and it's been a go-to health drink for centuries. But to really understand where it stands, we need to establish a baseline. We need a number. Okay, so scientists measure antioxidant power in something called micromoles. You can just think of it as a power score. The higher the number, the more antioxidant punch it packs. Green tea clocks in somewhere between 570 and about 2,620 per serving. Now keep that range in your head, because that's the score to beat. Now, before we bring out the challengers, let's do a super quick refresh. What in the world are antioxidants, and why should you even care about them in the first place? So the simplest way to think about it is this. Antioxidants are like the personal bodyguards for your body's cells. They're these amazing little compounds that go around neutralizing troublemakers called free radicals, which cause damage that's linked to aging and a whole bunch of diseases. And the benefits are, well, huge. We're talking about protecting our cells, calming down inflammation, and seriously lowering our risk for chronic diseases. In fact, a big study in 2023 even found that a diet full of them is linked to a lower risk of dying from, well, anything. So yeah, they're kind of a big deal for our overall health. All right, the moment of truth. We have our baseline from green tea. We know why antioxidants are so important. So it's time to meet the contenders. And I promise you, some of these are going to surprise you. Let's start in a pretty familiar place, the fruit aisle. You know how berries have those incredible, vibrant colors? Well, that's not just for show. Those deep reds, blues, and purples are basically a giant neon sign advertising their antioxidant power. And just to look at these numbers, they are absolutely off the charts. Aronia berries, over 15,000 micromoles. That doesn't just beat green tea, it completely demolishes it. But even the berries you see all the time, like blueberries and blackberries, are total antioxidant superstars. Okay, so from the berry patch, let's wander over to the vegetable garden, because there's one particular leafy green that really gives green tea a run for its money. And there it is, good old curly kale. Clocking in at around 2,800 micromoles per 100 grams, it lands comfortably above even the highest end of green tea's range. It's not just some trendy health fad, folks. This stuff is a genuine powerhouse. All right, the evidence is mounting. Let's keep going by heading into the pantry. The next couple of contenders are things you might just think of for baking or snacking, but their antioxidant levels are, frankly, ridiculous. This chart just says it all, doesn't it? When you measure it gram for gram, both walnuts and especially cocoa powder leave green tea way, way behind in the dust. It just goes to show you that serious nutrition can be found in some seriously delicious places. So we've seen berries crush it. We've seen kale, nuts, and even cocoa powder step up. But believe it or not, the real, undisputed heavyweight champion of the antioxidant world is probably sitting in a tiny little jar in your kitchen right now. You ready for this? Cloves. They measure in at over 2,770 micromoles per gram. That is not a typo. Spices are so incredibly concentrated, which makes them, gram for gram, the single most potent source of antioxidants you can possibly find. And cloves are not alone in the spice rock. Peppermint, cinnamon, oregano, they're all way up at the top of the charts. Even nuts and seeds, like sunflower seeds and walnuts, are packing a major punch, which just shows how much power is hiding in these little things. Okay, so we've totally dethroned green tea in the food department, but what about in the world of drinks? What about its biggest rival, the other morning brew? I'm talking about coffee. Well, it turns out coffee is a huge source of antioxidants for a lot of people. But what's really fascinating is that how you make your coffee actually matters. A 2020 study found that coffee from an AeroPress had the highest antioxidant capacity of all, beating out drip, pour-over, and French press. So we've learned that a ton of different foods can blow green tea out of the water, which leads to the most important question, right? How do we actually take this information and, use it?
The good news is it's actually pretty simple. First, eat the rainbow. All those different colors in whole foods mean different types of antioxidants. Second, use your herbs and spices. Throw some cinnamon in your oatmeal, add oregano to your pasta sauce. Third, just focus on whole foods over the ultra-processed stuff. And finally, go ahead and enjoy those antioxidant-rich drinks like coffee and tea. Now, one really important thing to keep in mind here is that these numbers aren't set in stone. The way a food is grown, how it's stored, and even how you cook it can change its antioxidant levels. So the key isn't to get obsessed with the exact numbers, but to focus on the bigger picture, variety. So after looking at all this evidence, what's the one big idea we should all walk away with? Well, it's really about shifting our focus away from a single superfood and towards creating a super diet. And honestly, this quote from the source material just says it all perfectly. The goal isn't to find one magic bullet, like chugging green tea all day. The real secret to unlocking all these amazing health benefits is simply variety. A diverse diet is a powerful diet. It's as simple as that. So, I'll leave you with a little food for thought. After hearing about all these amazing contenders, from berries and kale to cocoa and cloves, what antioxidant powerhouse do you think is already hiding out in your kitchen, just waiting to be used? Thanks so much for tuning in.